And good evening, everyone. Welcome to an all-new Hannity's America. Now, tonight we begin a new series on the show investigating the record of Senator Barack Obama. Now, last week we took to the streets of New York and discovered while most people knew who the senator was, well, they didn't know much about him. Can you name one specific accomplishment of Barack Obama in his career?
Not really.
Anything that he's done specifically?
Wow. I couldn't tell you.
No, I can't.
Isn't that amazing? Nobody can. Now, beginning tonight, we're going to start examining Senator Barack Obama's record, including the things he may not want you to hear. Now, we call it the real Barack Obama, and in Volume 1 tonight, we begin with his much-talked-about relationship with a confessed terrorist. The 1960s was one of the most turbulent eras of social and political unrest in our nation's history. The decade started with much hope and optimism and ended with violence and despair. Today, many Democrats draw comparisons between Vietnam and the war in Iraq. But it's the liberal left's current relationship with radical, anti-American forces of that decade that threatens our national security. A notorious organization called the Weather Underground was one of America's most radical group of terrorists. They formed on the campus of the University of Michigan during the midst of the anti-war and civil rights movements. In 1970, they issued a declaration of a state of war against the U.S. government. Members adopted different identities and plotted acts of terror that included the bombing of the U.S. Capitol building, the Pentagon, and the State Department. They hatched an unsuccessful plan to explode a nail bomb at a military dance in Fort Dix, New Jersey. It has been said the group's intention was to carry out, quote, the most horrific hit the United States government had ever suffered on its territory, unquote. These acts of terrorism are unconscionable. They can be compared to the savage barbarism carried out by Al-Qaeda on 9/11. These terrorists who wish to kill Americans can only be defeated by a president who understands the magnitude of their destruction.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Disturbing details are now emerging of an association between a founding member of the domestic terror group, the Weather Underground, and Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama. Senator Obama served as a paid director of the nonprofit Woods Fund of Chicago from 1999 to December 11, 2002. Serving alongside him was this man, William C. Ayers, a confessed terrorist, co-founder of the Weather Underground, and the man who plotted to overthrow the United States government. The connection first surfaced through a report which documented Ayers' $200 contribution in 2001 to the senator. The relationship reportedly first started back in the mid-1990s when Obama launched his political career. He visited the radicals' home as a so-called rite of passage amongst left-wing Chicago liberals. What the terrorist received in return for his donation is not yet known. A person who was there said, quote, there's no evidence their relationship is more than the casual friendship of two men who occupy overlapping Chicago political circles and serve together on the board of a Chicago foundation. Or is there more to this? Obama and Ayers have served together at various public speaking engagements related to the Woods Fund. Also serving with the senator was Ayers' wife and fellow weatherman terrorist Bernadette Dorn, once on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list and described as America's most dangerous woman. The Woods Fund recently gave money to Northwestern University Law School's Children and Family Justice Center, where she is the director. William Ayers is currently an education professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago and continues to sit on the Woods board. With the backing of their political supporters, they continue to espouse their radical views. In an interview with the New York Times published on 9/11, that's 9/11/2001, when terrorists killed nearly 3,000 Americans, the unrepentant Ayers was quoted as saying, I don't regret setting bombs. I feel we didn't do enough. During much of the 1970s, they remained fugitives on the run, plotting their attacks and hiding, but eventually turning themselves in 1981. And to the shock and horror of many, charges against them were dropped following revelations that the FBI conducted an illegal surveillance operation against them. But their horrific crimes have not been forgotten and are once again making headlines. Senator Obama's inability to immediately denounce and distance himself from a group of domestic terrorists raises serious questions about his ability to take on America's enemies. When asked in just the last week whether or not there was an association, David Axelrod, spokesman for Barack Obama, said they, quote, had a friendly relationship. The American public deserve an explanation, and the senator needs to be held accountable for his friendship or friendly relationship with somebody who has this terror background and terror ties.